Morning, guys. Sorry I missed yesterday. Dr. Hasty is not feeling very well, but I didn't want to miss 2 days in a row. So we are on to finding out about Jeffrey and his time with the students in the collaboration. Peter called them retards, and Alexia laughed, like it was funny or something. I should have just punched them then. It's a good thing they weren't in my group. I went downstairs with Jessica and Anna. They seemed a little scared, but I didn't say anything. We walked into Miss Kelsey's class and met the kids. They were great. Joey was full of love. All he wanted to do was play and hug me. He didn't get upset about anything, not even winning or losing when we played games. James was reading this big book when we first walked in. I could tell he was real smart. I figured he was autistic right away because he didn't look at us or say a word. And little Emily was so cute. She needed lots of help, but who wouldn't want to help her? They reminded me of Michael. Just like the collaborative kids, Michael had the power to make you feel really good whenever you're with him. Love poured from him. I've never told anyone about Michael and wasn't gonna, but Jessica knew something was up. She's pretty smart. She notices things. After we visited the collaborative classroom a few times, she came up to me at recess one day. I was sitting at the edge of the field, out where no one else ever comes. I was looking through my football cards, putting them in piles by position. "You have a secret, don't you, Jeffrey?" she said to me as she sat down. "What are you talking about?" I said. "Who do you know with special needs?" I kept sorting my cards. I tried to ignore her. I wasn't going to tell her anything. Then she moved closer. "I've got a secret no one knows about, too." "No one, not anyone at this school," she said. "So why would you tell me?" I asked, looking at her this time. "I was reading this book, Ida B, and in it the girl finally talks a little about her secret, and it helps her." "You're always reading," I said. "The characters help me understand and think about things," she said. "They help me know what to do." QBs, where was that pile? QBs are quarterback for you non-football kids. "Is that why you handle Alexia differently than any of the other girls?" I said. "I guess so." "Well, you can tell me your secret. I'm listening." "Can I look at some of the cards while I talk?" She reached for my running back pile. "No!" I pushed her hand away. "Nobody ever touches my cards." She was quiet. I might have scared her a little. "Sorry," I said. "I'll just hold my book then." I don't know if you guys have noticed, but anytime Jessica seems to get nervous. No, who is this? Right, Jessica? Yeah, Jessica. I'm sorry. Anytime she gets nervous, she needs to have, like, her book is a calming thing for her. So having something in her hands, his football cards, her book, just something I've noticed and didn't know if you guys have noticed or not. I waited, and she took a deep, big breath. "My dad didn't come to Connecticut with us," she said. "He directs plays and found a girlfriend at his work, a beautiful actress from one of his productions. My mom decided we needed to get away from California and my father, so we are here." I kept sorting my cards, but I was listening, and Jessica knew I was. After a few seconds, she kept talking. She had more to get off her chest. "I didn't want to come, but my mom told me I had no choice." Boy, was I ever angry with her. Angry like I've never been before. I figured my dad was dumping her, not me, so why did I have to leave too? Silly, right? I could never live without my mom. I stayed busy with my cards because I didn't know what else to do. I didn't want to ruin it for Jessica. She had a lot to tell, so I stayed quiet. What I didn't know at the time was that my dad wasn't only dumping my mom. He was dumping me too. The last time I talked to him was back in the beginning of the school year. He phoned to talk to me, but he hasn't called since. I knew what it was like to have a parent that didn't talk to you. I had too. But I didn't know what to say, so I did nothing. Then recess ended. Anna. I was pretty scared when Mr. Terupt first told us about going to the collaborative classroom. I didn't know those kids, only that they were gross and messy, but I didn't complain. I was happy when I found out Jessica was in my group. She and I have been eating lunch together. She's always reading and she's smart, but she doesn't act like a know-it-all. She tells me about her books if I ask, without giving away too much of the story. I wasn't expecting or looking for a special friend, but Jessica showed up this year all the way from California, and I like her a lot. I'd like to ask her over to my house, but no one has ever come before. I'm not sure what Mom would think. I'll have to think about it some more. Jeffrey was in our group too. All I know about him is that he always seems mad at everyone. That wasn't how it turned out though. Jeffrey was nice with the kids. Really nice. And I didn't feel scared because Miss Kelsey and Jessica were with me. Miss Kelsey knew that I was nervous, and she helped me get used to everything a little at a time. I noticed she didn't wear a wedding ring. Mr. Terupt had a lot of questions. No, Mr. Terupt had a lot of options. Little Emily was so cute. I didn't want to touch her hands because she always had them in her mouth and had slobbery spit all over them. But Miss Kelsey gave us the handkerchief to wipe her up with every once in a while, and then it was okay to touch her. I held her hand on the way to do our jobs and on the way back. She smiled at me, and then I felt like I was going to cry. I hadn't expected that. One day, after everybody had been to visit the collaborative classroom at least once, Mr. Terupt decided that we needed to discuss our group experiences. Mr. Terupt, I said, before we get into a serious discussion, did you know that Miss Kelsey doesn't wear a wedding ring? Is that so? Yes, and neither does Miss Newberry from across the hall. I did know that, but thanks for the observations, Anna. Anna's trying to play matchmaker. Then Peter started in, ooh, Terupt and Newberry sitting in a tree. Kissing. Okay, Peter, haha. Mr. Terupt held up his hands. Enough of the matchmaking, though I appreciate you looking out for me, Anna. Now, how about sharing your experiences? I wanted to tell Mr. Terupt that my mom didn't have a wedding ring, but he moved on. Jessica was the first to speak up. Mr. Terupt, why is James in that room? He seems really smart. Yeah, Peter said. He knew how many forks and stuff were on the table without even counting them. You should do some math with him, Luke. Not exactly a retard then, huh, Peter? Mr. Terupt said. Mr. Terupt's going to get them, isn't he? No. Peter's voice lowered, and so did his head. What does his body language suggest that he's feeling? His voice lowered, and so did his head as he says no. Maybe he's thinking he was wrong. He's autistic, Jeffrey said. No one said anything, probably because we're so shocked that Jeffrey had spoken at all, and because we didn't know what he meant. James has some things he's really into, and he knows everything about them, Jeffrey went on. A lot of autistic people have a special talent. James is great with numbers, but he has problems. Sorry, guys, I lost my place. He's great with numbers, but he has problems too. Hey, we should have had him tell us about how many blades of grass were in the soccer field, Peter said. Yeah, and then I would have never got hit in the tushy, Lexi told him. Peter grinned. But that was the best part. All right, you two, Mr. Terupt said. That's enough. How do you know all that stuff, Jeffrey? I said, even before I knew I was asking the question. I felt instantly bad. Jeffrey wasn't looking for extra attention. Jeffrey didn't answer. He was quiet again. The next chapter, and I believe the last chapter, of November is going to be Danielle, and we will read that later. So, I'm not going to even ask you guys a question today, but I think it's kind of cool, what we're learning through this experience. So I want you to kind of think about that. as we get ready to read the last chapter about the experiences with the kids and maybe some of the things the students are learning about each other, about themselves, and about other people around them. So think about that. You don't have to comment or respond below, and then I'll try to read a little bit later to make up for yesterday, but if not, definitely tomorrow. See you guys in a little bit.